2 weekends ago, in the lead-in to a sermon on 1 Corinthians, many of you heard me predict that the Philadelphia Eagles would defeat the Washington Commanders, which they did. In doing so, they set a record for the most points ever scored in an NFC Championship game. Now, with the Super Bowl coming up this weekend, I don't intend to make any such bold prognostication about the winner. Both starting quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts of the Eagles and Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs, have publicly talked about their faith in God. So they're awash in that category. But it begs the question, is God rooting for either team? Now, I think the answer is fairly obvious. In Exodus 19, verse 4, the Lord gave Moses a message for the Israelites, saying, "You yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt, and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself." Well, that's clear enough for me. God likens himself to an eagle, not a chief. Now, how about Isaiah 40, verse 31? But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Come on now. Doesn't that make you think of the Eagles' MVP running back, Saquon Barkley, busting a long run to pay dirt? Of course, I'm joking. But it's not often I get to talk about my favorite team getting to the Super Bowl. I'm not, however, joking about the connection in Revelation 12 to eagles, just not the Philadelphia variety. It seems the aforementioned text in Exodus is in the background for our Revelation passage. Revelation 12:13 states, when the dragon saw that he had been hurled to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. This is the same woman who was the great sign referenced in verse 1 and the child referenced in verse 5. Now here's the tie-in. The woman was given the 2 wings, wait for it, of a great eagle, so that she might fly to the place prepared for her in the wilderness, where she would be taken care of for a time, and half a time, out of the serpent's reach. When God carried the Israelites, metaphorically speaking, on eagle's wings out of Egypt, where did he take them? Oh yeah, that's right, to the wilderness. Now, the point of the woman's wilderness sojourn is described by the NIV as being taken care of. Now, the Greek is more specific as to what that care looks like. She was nourished. Now, if this sounds eerily familiar, it's because we've been told this already above in verse 6. The woman fled into the wilderness to a place prepared for her by God, where she might be taken care of for 1,260 days. Now, the destination is the same, as is the time frame and purpose. Nourishment or not, all's not well in this wilderness place. Then from his mouth the serpent spewed water like a river to overtake the woman and sweep her away with the torrent. That's weird, isn't it? First of all, the dragon, who was previously referred to as Satan or the devil, is now simply a serpent. Clear nod to the creation story. But why the river of water? Like, I can think of any number of things more terrifying than being attacked by a fire hose coming from one's mouth. Now, what first seems odd actually is quite fitting in Revelation. Jesus has a sword said to come from his mouth. The prophets had fire coming from their mouths. This is a consistent word picture. Now, there are a number of Old Testament connections to this. The one that makes the most sense to me is Psalm 144. In verse 7 and 8, David prays, "Reach down your hand from on high, deliver me and rescue me from the mighty waters, from the hands of foreigners whose mouths are full of lies, whose right hands are deceitful." Verse 11 emphasizes the point again. Deliver me, rescue me from the hands of foreigners whose mouths are full of lies, whose right hands are deceitful. Do you hear the echo? The mighty waters in the psalm are the lies from the mouths of the foreigners. So it is in Revelation. The serpent's strategy hasn't changed much, has it? The river spewing from the mouth of the serpent are lies and deceit. Just as he deceived the woman in the garden, his attack on the woman that is the church is a torrent of deceit. We'll pick up there next time. Have a great week.